Breaking news. Just 12 minutes ago, authorities delivered a chilling confirmation that has left the community in shock. The long-awaited truth about baby Emmanuel Haro's disappearance has finally come to light. For weeks, the story of Emmanuel, the 7-month-old infant whose sudden vanishing sent shockwaves through Riverside and beyond, has dominated news cycles and social media discussions alike. Parents, neighbors, and concerned citizens have been left grappling with countless unanswered questions. Where was he? Who was responsible? And how could such a tragedy unfold without notice? Now, after painstaking investigation, police have finally provided clarity about what happened during Emmanuel's final days, spanning the critical period from August 5th through August 14th. During this period, authorities meticulously reconstructed a timeline, piecing together witness statements, surveillance footage, and digital evidence to reveal the grim reality of what the infant endured. Investigators have confirmed that multiple opportunities to intervene were missed, and certain actions, or inactions, by those responsible have now come under intense scrutiny. Every detail from those 9 days paints a disturbing picture, highlighting both negligence and potentially criminal conduct. Officials stress that this is not just a matter of a missing child, but a case that exposes deeper failures within the system meant to protect the most vulnerable. The revelations have sent shockwaves not only through Emmanuel's family, but across the wider community. Families in Riverside and surrounding areas are expressing fear, anger, and frustration, demanding accountability and answers about how such a tragedy could have occurred. Social media has exploded with messages of support, grief, and outrage as people struggle to comprehend the events leading to the infant's disappearance and ultimate fate. For law enforcement, this confirmation marks a crucial turning point. The authorities' findings now provide a clear framework for the legal proceedings ahead, giving prosecutors the evidence they need to hold responsible parties accountable. Every piece of information, from the timing of interactions, the state of Emmanuel's living conditions, to the statements of those involved, will play a pivotal role in ensuring that justice is served. In this report, we will take you through a confirmed timeline, detailing each critical day between August 5th and 14th. We will also examine the shocking investigative findings, highlighting what authorities discovered behind closed doors. Finally, we will explore what these revelations mean for justice, the ongoing investigation, and for Emmanuel's family, who have endured unimaginable anguish while waiting for the truth to emerge. This is a story of tragedy, accountability, and the pursuit of justice for a child whose life was cut far too short. Emmanuel Haro was a young infant from Riverside County, California, whose brief life became the center of a heart-wrenching and complex criminal investigation that gripped the nation. Born into a family whose life seemed ordinary from the outside, Emmanuel's story took a tragic turn in early August 2025. On August 14th of that year, his mother, Rebecca Haro, made a frantic and alarming call to local authorities, claiming that Emmanuel had been abducted while she herself was violently attacked in a parking lot. The story was immediately shocking. A tiny baby allegedly taken in broad daylight, a mother left injured, and a community plunged into fear and confusion. Law enforcement agencies acted swiftly, treating the situation as a potential abduction and mobilizing search teams, canvassing the area, and requesting public assistance to locate the missing child. However, as investigators delved deeper into the circumstances surrounding Emmanuel's disappearance, troubling inconsistencies began to emerge in the mother's account. Certain timelines didn't add up, witness statement contradicted her version of events, and evidence from surveillance footage further cast doubt on the narrative she had provided. These discrepancies did not go unnoticed by the authorities, who are trained to detect subtle signs of deception, especially in cases involving missing children. What initially appeared to be a straightforward abduction case gradually morphed into something far darker and more complex. Ultimately, police determined that both of Emmanuel's parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro, were involved in a crime of unprecedented severity. They were arrested and charged not only with filing a false police report, but also with the murder of their own child, a revelation that shocked the local community and the nation. Although Emmanuel's body has not yet been recovered, law enforcement now has a significantly clearer understanding of the sequence of events that led to his disappearance and death. Through meticulous investigation, including interviews, digital forensics, and a careful reconstruction of movements and actions during the critical period, authorities have pieced together a timeline that spans August 5th to 14th, a timeline that is now central to understanding what tragically happened to Emmanuel in his final days. This timeline reveals patterns of neglect, potential abuse, and actions that indicate deliberate intent, offering a disturbing glimpse into the last days of Emmanuel's life. Each day between August 5th and 14th is crucial, as it provides context to the behavior of the parents, the environment Emmanuel was living in, and the series of decisions and events that culminated in the ultimate tragedy. While the infant's body remains missing, investigators' careful work is shedding light on the truth, ensuring that justice will pursue every responsible party. The case stands as a stark reminder of how critical timely and thorough investigations are in protecting the most vulnerable members of society. Authorities have now officially confirmed that the 9-day period between August 5th and August 14th was a critical window during which baby Emmanuel Haro suffered events that ultimately led to his tragic death. Although Emmanuel's body has not yet been recovered, law enforcement has been able to reconstruct a detailed and chilling account of what occurred in his final days. Investigators relied on a combination of sources, including in-depth interviews with family members, neighbors, and potential witnesses, as well as medical records that provided insight into his physical condition during that period. Additionally, physical evidence collected from the Haro residence and surrounding property played a key role in establishing a clearer understanding of the sequence of events. By meticulously analyzing these pieces of evidence, authorities were able to piece together a comprehensive timeline that paints a picture of the abuse Emmanuel endured. Each day from August 5th through August 14th is now formally included in the official investigative timeline, with authorities noting that the entirety of this 9-day period was marked by neglect, harmful conditions, and potentially deliberate acts that contributed to his death. Investigators emphasize that the timeline is far more than just dates. It represents the escalation of risk, the progression of harm, and the moments that cumulatively led to the fatal outcome. Evidence suggests that during this window, Emmanuel's environment deteriorated, his well-being was compromised, and critical opportunities for intervention were missed. The day of August 14th, when Emmanuel was ultimately reported missing, marks the culmination of this period of abuse, confirming the suspicions investigators had been forming throughout the case. Prior to this reconstruction, authorities had suspected that a series of abusive incidents occurred, but they lacked the concrete, day-by-day details necessary to fully understand what transpired. Now, through methodical investigative work, they have documented each day of the 9-day period, establishing a factual backbone for the charges being pursued. This timeline not only confirms a narrative authorities had long suspected, but also provides a clearer roadmap for understanding the circumstances surrounding Emmanuel's disappearance and death. While the absence of Emmanuel's body continues to pose challenges, the combination of interviews, medical documentation, and property evidence has allowed investigators to create a coherent and credible picture of his final days. This 9-day timeline is now central to the investigation, forming the foundation for ongoing legal proceedings and ensuring that the details of Emmanuel's suffering are fully recognized in the pursuit of justice. It underscores the importance of diligent investigative work in cases involving the most vulnerable and serves as a crucial step toward accountability for those responsible. Authorities have confirmed that the evidence recovered over the 9-day period between August 5th and August 14th reveals a disturbing pattern of abuse and deliberate deception by Emmanuel Haro's parents. Law enforcement sources report that the case, initially treated as a potential kidnapping, was far more sinister than originally believed. Cadaver dogs were deployed to multiple locations connected to the Haro family, including their residence, vehicles, and nearby properties, in a desperate effort to locate the infant's remains. These specially trained dogs, capable of detecting human remains even in challenging conditions, were instrumental in guiding investigators to critical areas of interest and in confirming that the child had been in specific locations during those final days. In addition to the canine searches, authorities conducted thorough examinations of vehicles, personal property, and the home environment. Every space was scrutinized for trace evidence, signs of trauma, or indicators of attempts to conceal wrongdoing. Investigators also meticulously reviewed digital evidence, including text messages, social media activity, and surveillance footage, which provided further insight into the parents' actions, timelines, and communications. This comprehensive approach allowed authorities to connect multiple dots that had previously seemed disconnected or ambiguous, building a strong factual basis for the ongoing investigation. Police have now confirmed that the story initially reported by the parents, that Emmanuel had been kidnapped while his mother was attacked, was entirely fabricated. Evidence indicates that the alleged abduction never occurred, and instead, both parents were directly involved in actions that led to their child's death. Jake Haro, who has a prior conviction related to child abuse, was identified as a central figure in the sequence of events, further intensifying the gravity of the case. Both Jake and Rebecca Haro are now facing charges of murder, along with additional charges of filing a false police report and obstructing justice. Today's breaking confirmation by authorities finally connects the dots, offering the clearest picture yet of what happened to Emmanuel during his final days. The evidence collected, from cadaver dog alerts to digital records and property searches, paint a harrowing narrative of abuse, deception, and premeditation. Investigators emphasize that this case is a stark reminder of the dangers children face when those entrusted with their care betray that trust. With this new confirmation, law enforcement has laid the foundation for pursuing full accountability, ensuring that the tragic story of Emmanuel Haro is fully documented and that justice can move forward for the infant who suffered unimaginable harm in the hands of his own parents. With a recent police confirmation detailing Emmanuel Haro's final days, the focus of the case has shifted dramatically toward the courtroom, where the next phase of justice is beginning to take shape. Both parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro, have officially entered pleas of not guilty, setting the stage for what is expected to be a highly scrutinized and closely followed trial. The stakes are immense, as the newly confirmed timeline of Emmanuel's last 9 days, from August 5th to August 14th, now serves as a central pillar in the prosecution's case. Every action, every omission, and every piece of evidence uncovered during this period is likely to be presented in court, painting a detailed picture of the abuse, neglect, and deception that ultimately led to the infant's tragic death. Rebecca Haro has secured the services of high-profile attorney Jeff Moore, a lawyer with extensive experience handling complex child abuse cases. Moore's involvement signals that the defense intend to mount a vigorous challenge to the charges, potentially scrutinizing every aspect of the investigation, from how evidence was collected to the methods used by law enforcement in reconstructing Emmanuel's final days. His reputation as a formidable attorney in cases of this nature adds another layer of intensity to the upcoming proceedings, ensuring that both the prosecution and defense will be pushing for meticulous attention to detail in every courtroom exchange. On the other hand, Jake Haro is represented by a public defender, reflecting a different dynamic in the courtroom. Despite the differences in legal representation, both parents are facing identical charges, including murder and filing a false police report. The contrast between a high-profile defense attorney and a public defender could influence courtroom strategy, the presentation of evidence, and how each parent's involvement is argued before the judge and jury. The next court hearing, scheduled for September 16, 2025, is expected to be a pivotal moment in the case. Prosecutors are anticipated to present additional evidence, including new insights into Emmanuel's final days, now officially verified by police. This includes detailed timelines, witness statements, medical records, and digital evidence that corroborate the investigative findings. Authorities emphasize that this hearing will be crucial not only for setting procedural matters, but also for establishing the factual foundation that will guide the trial. This phase of the proceedings represents a critical juncture in the pursuit of justice for Emmanuel. With law enforcement having clarified the timeline and connected key pieces of evidence, the courtroom now becomes the arena where accountability will be formally sought. The coming weeks will be closely watched by the public, the media, and child welfare advocates, all eager to see how the legal system handles one of the most tragic cases in Riverside County in recent memory. Every revelation, every testimony, and every piece of evidence presented in court will be instrumental in uncovering the full truth about Emmanuel Haro's final days and ensuring that justice is served. The case of Emmanuel Haro has ignited widespread outrage across the nation, capturing the attention of families, child advocacy groups, and concerned citizens alike. Many people are asking the difficult questions that authorities and the public cannot ignore. How was Jake Haro, who had a prior child abuse conviction, ever in a position to care for an infant again? Could stricter oversight, intervention, or monitoring have prevented this unimaginable tragedy? These questions cut to the heart of systemic failures and have prompted renewed discussions about how child protective services, law enforcement, and the legal system track and manage individuals with a history of abuse. Advocates argue that Emmanuel's death underscores the urgent need for reform, particularly in monitoring parents with prior convictions, and have called for thorough review of policies that might have averted this heartbreaking outcome. The case has also sparked a massive response on social media platforms, with posts, live streams, and community forums discussing every known detail of Emmanuel's disappearance and the subsequent investigation. While some of this online discourse has been fueled by speculation, authorities are urging the public to rely on verified information from official sources rather than unconfirmed reports. Police and investigative teams have emphasized that spreading misinformation can compromise ongoing investigations and potentially interfere with the pursuit of justice. Despite the surge of commentary and conjecture online, there remains a unified public demand for factual clarity and accountability as a community grapples with grief, anger, and a profound sense of loss. Local residents, particularly those in Riverside County, have organized vigils, awareness campaigns, and public forums to keep Emmanuel's story in the spotlight, signaling that the community refuses to let his death fade into obscurity. Parents and neighbors alike are seeking assurances that lessons will be learned, systems will be strengthened, and those responsible for Emmanuel's suffering will face the full weight of the law. The case has become emblematic of broader societal concerns about child safety, the effectiveness of legal safeguards, and the consequences of neglecting warning signs. As the investigation continues and court proceedings move forward, the demand for justice remains unrelenting. Citizens, advocacy groups, and even national observers are watching closely, ensuring that Emmanuel's story serves as a catalyst for accountability and reform. The outrage is not just about one tragic case. It is a call to action, a reminder that the welfare of the most vulnerable members of society cannot be compromised, and that systemic change is necessary to prevent future tragedies like the heartbreaking death of Emmanuel Haro. The heartbreaking story of Emmanuel Haro is far from reaching a conclusion, and the ramifications of his disappearance and death continue to reverberate throughout Riverside County, across California, and even nationally. As authorities meticulously investigate every facet of the case, the public remains intensely focused on uncovering the full truth behind what happened during Emmanuel's final days. The recent confirmations from law enforcement about the abuse and deception by his parents have intensified scrutiny and raised profound questions about accountability, systemic failures, and the steps that could have been taken to prevent such a tragedy. Families, child advocacy groups, and concerned citizens alike are asking difficult but necessary questions. How did prior warnings and records go unheeded? Were there missed opportunities for intervention by social services or law enforcement? And ultimately, what can society learn from this devastating incident to better protect its most vulnerable members? The intense media coverage and widespread attention on social media illustrate just how deeply Emmanuel's story has struck a chord with the public. Live streams, discussion forums, and comment sections are filled with voices calling for justice and demanding answers. While the sharing of information has helped keep the case in the spotlight, authorities continue to emphasize the importance of relying on verified details to avoid misinformation or speculation that could interfere with the investigation or the legal process. The public's vigilance and concern are critical, as community pressure often plays a key role in ensuring transparency, accountability, and progress in high-profile cases such as this one. With the next court hearing scheduled for September 16, 2025, all eyes are now on the judicial proceedings. Prosecutors are expected to present additional evidence documenting Emmanuel's final days, now officially confirmed by police, and the hearings will be pivotal in setting the stage for a trial that could bring justice to the infant whose life was cut tragically short. For the family, the community, and the nation, the hope is that these legal steps will not only hold the responsible parties accountable, but also shine a light on the systemic gaps that allowed such a tragedy to occur. As this story continues to unfold, it serves as both a cautionary tale and a call to action. The questions remain painfully clear. What could have been done to prevent Emmanuel's death? Will the legal system finally deliver justice for a child whose voice was silenced far too early? The collective concern of the public ensures that Emmanuel's story will not be forgotten. By commenting, sharing, and engaging with verified updates, the community can help keep his memory alive, maintain pressure for accountability, and ensure that lessons are learned to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Emmanuel Haro's life, though tragically brief, continues to demand attention, justice, and reflection. If you want to stay updated on the Emmanuel Haro case, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every new detail will be covered here, and you won't want to miss a single update in this unfolding story.